Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Evermore NUFC channel. Wow, what a performance! What a result! Absolutely gobsmacked. Chris, as George has put in the comments, will be in bits. I'm sure he absolutely will be. You've got me this evening because Chris is there tonight and lapping up that atmosphere. Yes, Chris. Chris has turned into Mark tonight. I am sorry, you've got me. You are stuck with me. But my God, what a performance that was from the very off. What an absolute tactical masterclass from Eddie Howe, because that was an unbelievable turn. Sky were having a hissy fit at the beginning, trying to work out what Eddie Howe was doing. But my God, what a result, what a performance. And Wembley again, twice in the space of 3 seasons. We'll get stuck in. Before I start, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Come and join us, stay for longer. That would be great. We are closing in rapidly on 10,000 subscribers. So again, massive thank you to everybody who has joined us so far. And come, like I say, stay for longer. You'll love it. I'm sure you will. I've in my haste and in my excitement of all of what's been going on, I've forgotten to put the teams in. I'm trying to rapidly download them to get them on the screen. But it was a change up, obviously with Joe Linton being injured and seemingly going to be out for a few weeks. We did wonder what was going to be the team that Eddie would go for. Would he? I mean, we sort of maybe thought that he would put Sean Longstaff in, or Lewis Miley, or even Joe Willock might come in to the starting lineup. But he completely switched it up on everybody. I have now got it. There we go. So Dubravka stayed in goal. Trippier came in at sort of right wing back, full back. Can I just say, Kieran Trippier was absolutely magnificent tonight. Botman came into a back three along with Shaw and Dan Burn and Lewis Hall at left full back. The switch in midfield obviously then is just the two in terms of Bruno and Tonali in essence working really well. I guess at 4 at times with Gordon and Murphy and obviously the main man up front. And it was just, like I say, just a masterclass from Eddie Howe in setting up and really thwarting everything that Arsenal could throw at them, and very much played to counter, to pick the gaps in behind and put those Arsenal defenders and as the sort of the fullbacks sort of step up a little bit and put those centre backs under pressure. And my God, Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak had Saliba's life tonight. He started to look like Boom Song. I think I put in our group chat at one point. It was such a good performance from those forward players that they made that Arsenal, much vaunted Arsenal centre-back pairing look distinctly average. I'm trying to find my notes for the game because I sort of gave up at one point because I was just enthralled in the game completely. But I mean, it starts really early on, doesn't it? I mean, right in the first couple of minutes of the game, I mean, I was screaming at the TV for a yellow card for Martinelli's foul on Jacob Murphy because he's not through on goal, but he's got that really good run down the left-hand side and cut in from the left. And a couple of minutes later, you then have the goal that wasn't given. Ever so close, wasn't it, for Isak being just offside. A beautiful little ball through from Anthony Gordon after sort of Bruno and Tonali combined in the centre of midfield. And it was a wonderful ball through, and Isak took the goal. Well, took his chance so well. He just obviously strayed slightly a bit beyond the line, and it was a sign of things to come because Arsenal looked rattled. Arsenal looked like they couldn't cope with that sort of play and the intensity of Newcastle's press, and it was great to see that high press back in place, and they just never let Arsenal settle. And it carried on. there was another moment. I think about 4 or 5 minutes later, I thought Thomas Partey might have been booked as well. Interesting when later on he probably then maybe should have been sent off, but he sort of completely wipes out Anthony Gordon down that left-hand side, and no attempt to play a ball because it's miles ahead of him. He just completely cleans him out, but free kick with nothing else. And then I think Odegaard fired wide just off the post. It was that little chance. I started to worry a little bit with Arsenal's play just in and around the box, and Odegaard just finding those little spaces outside the area to play balls through, getting to spaces to take a shot. And that sort of backwards and forwards, and Newcastle's directness, I thought was very good tonight. The way that they attacked, like I say, they attacked those centre backs. They played more directed to get it forward quickly, to break from deep and really catch Arsenal out. I said before, Trippier is absolutely magnificent. The first 30 minutes of the game, Trippier's winding up with the Arsenal players was, worthy of man of the match for me straight away. Starting with Havertz on the byline, and then he had a popper. Was it Gabriel that he had a popper down that right hand side as well, and he really started to get to them, and they started to crumble. And this is the second time that Arsenal have walked into an atmosphere like that at St James's Park and completely fallen apart. And there's a blueprint there for sides to go and get at them, because they look distinctly average. The goal, I think, was it the Odegaard one that he hits off the post? The goal then comes from the goal kick afterwards, and I'm sure at some point Arsenal will complain about the fact that the play wasn't brought back for a free kick on the edge of the box. But the ball's kicked up. Alexander Isak does brilliantly to work around Saliba to get the ball. And then the ball's turned around the corner to him from Gordon again. He takes a touch into the box, fires with the left foot off the inside of the post, and it bounces across the goal. And such a good finish from Jacob Murphy to control that ball. First time into the net, just off the inside of the post. Wonderful, wonderful finish. And the roof came off again at St James. You could hear it, you could sense it. It was just a wonderful atmosphere right from the off, but the roof went off again. And that was, even then I thought that, well, that's it. I just can't see Arsenal getting back into it. They were scrappy. There were no clear-cut chances. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure they finished with a shot on target in the entire tie, let alone tonight. I'm quickly trying to find my stats of the game, but I think they might have had one shot on target, or maybe it's classed as a shot on target tonight. I'll have to dig a bit deeper, but there was just nothing from them. They didn't have one in the first leg. They haven't had one in the second, and Newcastle just again thoroughly deserve the trip to Wembley. The end of the first half, scrappy, I think, from Arsenal's point of view. Havertz booked for pretty much being a whiny little so-and-so. I'll leave the swearing up for Chris. Saliba booked a couple of minutes later again, then for pulling Anthony Gordon back. And just a couple of minutes later, then Anthony Gordon cuts in from the left-hand side and curls just wide after Bruno's played him in. And then we get into the break, and there's that sense of elation everywhere. The crowd's up, the players are up, everybody's up for it. And I think come out for the second half and show that same level of application, that same level of intensity that we know that those players can play with, and it's shown really from the off. And again, a couple of mistakes early in the second half. There's the chance for Anthony Gordon. He chased down Saliba again, just completely messes up. Gordon nips in, and Raya's completely off his line. And I thought he probably should do a little bit better with him. Maybe he's been a little bit harsh from 40 yards out, but it drifts just wide. And then again, 2 minutes later, they completely mess the play up again. Fabian Schär, who's on the high press, pretty much on the edge of the Arsenal area, wins the ball back, and it falls to Anthony Gordon right in the middle of the penalty area, who slots underneath David Raya, and that's it. I mean, that was game over. That was it all done. Arsenal never looked like getting back into the game, and it probably could have been more. Another couple of chances to come later on, but I think that was it. It was almost foot off the gas at that point, and enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the ride into the final. That was just, I say, just absolutely magnificent from them. And look, it's 2 semi-finals. I think that's Newcastle's record. I think I put in the notes in the preview that Chris did, that every time Newcastle get to a League Cup semi-final, they make the final, and they've done it again. And this is the second one in a couple of years that home leg's been won 2-0. So absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I hope Chris has enjoyed his night. Thank you again to Debs who sorted the ticket out for him, because what a gesture that was. I am going to try and get into some of your comments tonight, so bear with me while I catch up on those. Chippers is as a member for 3 months. So thank you very much, Chibaz. Some of your comments that we get through in the chat are absolutely unbelievable. They make me and Chris absolutely howl. So keep those coming, mate. George in the comments here, I think we're saying it must be the ball. It must be the ball. Mikel Arteta. It must be the ball. The face on Arteta, and I put a tweet out earlier on that was basically match ticket £20. Match program £3.50, pint so much, but the look on Mikel Arteta's face was absolutely priceless, and I mean that was worth it just for that look. Again, Tarek put the same thing. It must be the ball. Then George again, tidal wave of Captain Scarlet whinging coming. Yes, we're all up for that, mate. Absolutely all up for that. Let's have a look. So. Tarek, looking forward to AFTV claiming it's either bigger fish to fry or Mickey Mouse Cup. Anyway, yeah, I would be waiting for that to see just what their reaction will be. I can imagine it being very, very bitter. Kevin won tonight despite a very defensive lineup. I believe there were 5 defense. Yeah, look, I mean, Sky, I said at the beginning, Sky were racking their brains trying to work it out, talking about Lewis Hall having played central midfield for Chelsea every time he played. And you sort of knew what was coming from him. And I never for 1 second expected Dan Burn to be playing left back, which is what Sky initially put up. But it's, I mean, Sky being Sky, I guess, isn't it? But they were, I think, like I say, it was just a tactical masterclass to go defensive, but with the pace and the guile from the midfield and the forward, just to really put massive pressure and leave enough players back so that Arsenal couldn't break. So when Newcastle were breaking forward, Arsenal couldn't do it to them. Let's have a look. Chippers cry Havertz as a winger. He was. I mean, again. I mean, I said to one of the lads I work with, who's an Arsenal fan, and Havertz is just such a poor. I mean, he's not a centre forward, but he's such a poor player. He's just not good enough, not worth the money that they paid for him. He's scored some goals, but he's missed so many chances. He just is such a poor player. He's looking for a foul in the second half when Lewis Hall knocked him over. Well, he ran into Lewis Hall and he fell over. It just summed him up. I think he fouled. He gets his booking from fouling Bruno in the first half and then moaning and whinging, and it's just typical Kai Havertz, and he's just an awful footballer. George again. Isak made their defenders look. I mean, Alexander Isak was on one over the 2 legs, wasn't he? He was just. I think it's almost been a point for him to prove to Arsenal, just how good he is, and show them what they're missing, because he was going to sign for them. We'll still get that. We'll get into the summer and they'll be looking to try it, to bring that up again all across the all across the media platforms. We had a super chat in from Graham. Thank you very much for your $10, mate. That's really generous of you. Mark, that was brilliant. Or what? Man, I'm so chuffed to bring it on. I don't give a shit who we get. Yeah, I mean, look, the other game tomorrow night, I think most people would have Liverpool down as turning that game around, but you just never know on the night. If Spurs have got it right, they've got a couple of new players. But again, I mean, the Newcastle and the performance like they've put in over the last two legs. I'm always trying to forget about the way that they played at the weekend because it was really an awful performance. But if they put a performance in like that, I don't care who it's against, that they can get a result. We've seen them do it. We've seen them do it against some of the best, the PSGs and Manchester United, Arsenal, City. They've really rattled Liverpool a couple of times. So it is just on form on their day. They're a match for absolutely anybody. So no fear going into the final at all, and so there shouldn't be. Great, Mark. Team analysis was a necessary party, Cans. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. I probably wasted a couple of minutes going through the team at the beginning, but yeah, let's get the beers in. That definitely. I'm on water tonight. I do apologise for that, but it's just so I can keep talking. So yeah, let's have a look. See what else we've got here. We've got Stephen had a feeling Saturday may have been a rare case of before the Lord match. Yeah. It shouldn't happen, should it? Those performances, you can kind of see players' minds elsewhere. That I know the manager will always say that the focus is on the game in front. The focus is on that, and that's the most important game. It's always the right thing to say. But look, it's you can almost forgive it at times for, especially going into a game like that and getting a result like that. You look back in Fulham, we'll just forget about that one. Plus, fuck the notes. Yeah, look, I was trying to keep them and just like you say, you get washed up in the moment, don't you? And suddenly you're 15, 20 minutes past and you go, I haven't written anything down here. I'm just going to have to try and remember what's gone on. So yeah, apologies. I didn't keep my full notes for the full game. Vincent flat Arsenal, just. There's much vaunted Arsenal side, and I know that they're missing a couple, but again, made to look distinctly average tonight. And the way that Newcastle and are able to just rattle, and it seems to happen in every game that for some reason Newcastle have their number. For some reason, those players are able to rattle the Arsenal manager, the Arsenal players. The fact that both Isak and Gordon, and they're properly into William Saliba's head. They're into Declan Rice losing his head at the end of the game. Thomas Partey, who can be rash, but it was losing it earlier on. Trossard was losing his mind early on. They were really in their heads from minute one. That the atmosphere is up. They didn't take well when they came up to Newcastle that a couple of seasons ago, and was it Eddie Howe's first season he was at the club, and they came to Newcastle chasing the title, and Newcastle sent them packing again at that point because the atmosphere got to them. They walked out and didn't know how to take it. So yeah, it's just brilliant to see. Absolutely brilliant to see. Kieran Trippier, truly class performance. Yeah, I'll be honest. When I saw the teams, I was a little surprised. I thought Livramento would have been handed would have kept his place with the pace that Arsenal can possess down those flanks. I thought he might have kept his place, but Trippier was absolutely magnificent. And I think for me, as good as some of the other, I think he was my man of the match tonight. I obviously drop yours into the chat, but yeah, I just thought he was on another level tonight. We've seen times when his legs appear to have gone, and he's not quite been at the races. But tonight, from one to tonight, he was there. He was on it. He led from the front, and he was just brilliant. William Botman, what a talent! Absolutely right. There was a moment in the first half where he takes the ball, sort of from the air in one sort of motion and takes it through a couple of Arsenal players towards the halfway, and you just thought, he's a class footballer. I know Chris continually calls him a Rolls Royce, doesn't he? And absolutely that. He was just brilliant. Didn't put a foot wrong. Dan Burn again, just brilliant. I think that they all were exceptional tonight. I'm trying to look at the scorings on SofaScore just to see what they were given, but I think the back four all above 7. Dubravka as well. Interestingly, they have Tonali and Bruno down as sort of 6, I think 6.8 and 6.7, which I think is really, really harsh because I thought Tonali was brilliant. He covered so much ground, and they weren't particularly good with the ball going forward and getting into those areas, but they covered so much ground. They got in the Arsenal players' faces. They harried them. They hassled. They did all of the dirty work, and they were just brilliant tonight as well. And even without the Joe Linton physical presence in that midfield, it wasn't missed at all. As Tim says, their professional performance. It was full of passion. It was full of intent and intensity, but thoroughly professional. They didn't lose their heads. I guess at times, you get into a position that you start. Sometimes you worry. You see the way that I think Bruno in that other semi-final, he lost his sort of his head a little bit, and you wonder whether an occasion might get to some of the players, but not one of them put a foot wrong. Let's have a look further down. Yeah, Philip, Eddie Howe deserves to win a trophy at the club with the amazing job he's done. He has. Look, I know there were dissenting voices a couple of months ago, and with the performances that were going in, but overall, he's just done a wonderful job for Newcastle. To take them from where they were and to be where they are now, where the club sits, where the run to the Champions League, this season's run to potentially European football, now 2 cup finals. It's a level of, it's really now a kind of a level of consistency. Yes, I think there's a little bit more consistency needed in terms of performances week in, week out, but I think overall the level of consistency now is high top half of the league, challenging for trophies. And how long has it been since Newcastle have consistently challenged to get to finals? I mean, it's a semi-final, a quarter-final, and a semi-final just in the League Cup over the last 3 seasons, and it's just been it's been really good fun to watch. Corvo, has anyone seen Arteta? I think he still looks thoroughly dejected on the sideline, to be honest with you. It'll be interesting to see his interview. I am a little bit missed. Actually, I've come on to talk to you guys. I'd love to be able to see what he's saying. I'd rather talk to you guys, to be fair. Robert, 3 shutouts in 1 season over Arsenal. Yeah, again. And again, it's about having their number at that point. They just don't know. There's much, and he's much vaunted again, but there's much vaunted set-piece routines that they have. What have they created against Newcastle over the recent games? Absolutely nothing. Overhit crosses. I thought Dubravka dealt with the crosses really well, getting in to punch them. First half, Trippier and Murphy doing really well at the set pieces, getting in the way and causing their players problems. It really very well set up defensively from set pieces. Robert again here, shithousery from Trips, 10 out of 10. Absolutely. And for me, that's my reason for man of the match, because I thought he got into their heads. He got them and loved seeing him just wind them up. He's got that in him, hasn't he? He's got that little bit of almost thuggery, I think, a little bit, but that little bit of not taking any shit. And I'm really impressed by that. Stephen, loved Matthew Arsenal giving it the big one that they were going to rain down goals on us. Dream on with Havertz up front, attacking instinct for good lead. So, yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple of these on my desk. The cat seems to bring things back, and they've got more attacking intent definitely than Kai Havertz. He's just awful. Chris, NUFC, come on Wembley again. Hope we win it this time round. Yeah, I think whoever they're going to face in the final. It's just a great feeling, isn't it? For everybody to watch and to see get that second trip and having learned from the first one, hopefully as well, that they go into the second one to have a much better performance. John Cook, man, I'm buzzing after that. Cooking magnificent. So proud to be a Toon fan. It's been a really good evening. Ross, the 4-4 was 10. No, I was looking at the clips of that this morning, and honestly, that volley from Tiote is still as good now, and God rest his soul. He's that's just such a great strike, great way to have finished that game off. But yeah, on the day of that's some performance. Philip, hopefully Chris had a great night. Yeah, I'm sure he will have done. I've got a couple of messages for you. He sent us a couple of images and stuff through from the ground. So we'll I'm sure we'll try and get some of those up on socials. Jim Box reads, there's a Starman playing on the... I'm not saying it, by the way. Playing on the right. His name is Jacob Murphy and he's fucking dynamite. Yeah. His form this season has just been sensational, hasn't he? Another goal contribution tonight. And I think an England call-up, on form, is there another right-sided player that's performing better than him? He's not the most fancied of names in the league, but with the likes of Saka injured and things, surely he's got to be in for a shout. Absolutely. Chipper Sky love toying on the Isaac to Arsenal. Yeah, they can't help themselves, can they? Absolutely can't help themselves. And it's I'm starting to get tired of it, to be honest with you. We talked about it an awful lot on here, haven't we? But it's they're just, it's like a broken record. Terry got a completely random tangent. Just realised you've got the same kitchen layout as mine. Well, that's good to know. So share some shared commonality there. Random guy. But I can't remember who it was putting the comments either way. It said they felt like they knew my kitchen better than their own. I think it was. So so welcome to the kitchen. Here we go. Jerry, hi Mark, how are you? Newcastle versus as to win for Newcastle. Man of the match is Anthony Gordon. Carabao Cup final. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, Anthony Gordon I thought was very good. Probably could have had a couple of goals tonight. But just another great performance. He was really on the front foot, and that press that he's then able to be part of again. And it was just throughout that front line, those three again were very, very good. So yeah, I can't knock you for picking Gordon as man of the match. Not my personal one, but he was still very, very good. Let's have a look down. Just lots of backwards and forwards there we go. Christopher Arteta didn't even want to shake Eddie's hand after the game. He's such a miserable boss, Stuart. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I'd say it's just pain us, win with grace, lose with grace. It's not hard, is it? It's especially in. Eddie Howe's not the most combative of managers. He's not going to get into that. He's too well natured with others, I think, for that. What's the point? It's just bitterness, and really, really, it's really sad to see, isn't it? For a manager, there's too many like that. Philip, good to see Wilson come on late. Yeah, I thought I always joked. I was surprised that Wilson didn't go back off injured again. Bless him. But yeah, good to see. Look, it's body's back, isn't it, for this next run of games, and I think he might be hugely key for the rest of the season if he stays fit, because he's actually going to need rests. He's going to need time off the field, and I think from the little we've seen of Will Asula, he's all right. He needs time. He needs time to develop a little bit more. Wilson's you need contribution from him. You need goals. You need minutes out of him now. So, and good to see Willa gone as well, for more minutes after what's gone on as well. So, Dennis, brilliant performance all round. Wish they could keep it up against lesser teams as well. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I sat there thinking in the second half, where the hell was this performance at the weekend? Because if there was half the effort, I think, and half the intensity that there was tonight against Fulham, that it would have been a win. So really frustrating, I think, that you look back on that, but it's gone. We'll focus just on tonight. Paul, pass the sauce. I'll eat my hat. I didn't believe they could do it. Shame on me. A real team performance against top opponents. And it sort of comes back to that previous point, doesn't it? But the better the opposition, the less that's expected out of the side. The better the performance that they get out of the players. And like I say, to a man, they were absolutely brilliant. Dean 11 man of the match for me. I almost can't disagree, because it's a proper team performance, and it's I think I thought, mine was, I'll say it again, mine was Trippier, but I can't really disagree with that, because they've just, as a total team performance, as that professional performance, as was in the comments before, it was just really, really good. I'm hoping everybody's got their trains booked. I'm hoping everybody's got their hotels already pre-booked for London for a few weeks' time, because I can imagine there being a few beers consumed between now. So don't forget, if you haven't already and you are going, don't forget to book up as quickly as possible if you haven't already. And I'm sure I've half the people that I work with have already booked. So I hope you have already. Cushy, it was like PSG again. Yeah, I mean, it's the level of performance, the level of atmosphere, and I go back to, I mean, the fans tonight. Pre-game, Eddie was talking about, not harnessing that extra sort of piece that they have, and the fans in the stadium being such a pivotal part of Newcastle's ability to perform and getting results. And I thought the crowd were great tonight. It was really flat, I felt, at the weekend for huge parts, and based on the way that the game was going, it's sort of understandable. But tonight, the atmosphere pre-game was sensational. Even through unfortunately not being there, but it looked magnificent, and it just carried on. And the noise, every challenge that went in, every shot, every sort of decision that went for or against, the noise just lifted again. And it's such a, Newcastle's crowd is, the fans are just such a big part of it. And when that noise is up, when that passion comes through, the players must take so much from it. They really must. And we talked about it a couple of years ago. If you want to sell a club to anybody, and you're looking at players in the transfer market, what's the reason why I should come and play for you? And we've said it before. Just take a video of that. Take a video of the pre-game and stuff that's gone on through the game, and just send it to the players and go, that's what you're playing for. And that will, it turns heads. I mean, you heard Jamie Redknapp straight after the game. He couldn't, I can't hear what you're asking me. I'm assuming you're talking to me, but I can't hear it. And that's the level of atmosphere that you absolutely want, and the players will feed off, but the players have to give that back as well, and they did in spades tonight. Let's have a quick look through some more of these comments before I do. Guy, I hate Arsenal. Yeah, I've said to my missus tonight, she was getting well into the game again tonight. It's taken me 20-something years with her, but she's finally learning to love football. I'm quite proud of myself for that fact. I can't stand them. I absolutely can't. They used to be one of those sides where I didn't mind. They were good to watch. So I thought they were, they were. If it's on, I'll watch again. Now they're just horrible. They're a horrible bunch. They're so unlikable. The manager's awful. in terms, you might be a good manager, but he's just an awful human being, and their players are just such moaners. And Trossard from almost minute one was complaining. Havertz just couldn't stop whinging, and it's just that. I mean, that just stems from the gaffer, doesn't it? It stems from Arteta. He's just, as Paul gets there, Arteta will be complaining the football was round. He probably will be. They've been training with a square one all week, so they've gone back to the round one, and it'll be complaining about that. But there's always something. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never, well, I got this wrong, or I don't know what he said tonight, like I say, but it's just. It's never I did wrong. It's always somebody else's fault, and it's just they're just a really unlikable bunch. Two of you in the chat, thank you for joining us. I hope if you were watching Sky, you switched them off and we're listening to the lads on the live. Gannon to Wembley, absolutely. It just magnificent again. Thoroughly deserved. Didn't give Arsenal a sniff. Just absolutely brilliant. And I'll be honest, when I was talking to some of the lads today, I did think that, and I thought maybe a few that thought if Arsenal could score early, that there was always the worry that would quieten down the crowd. If they could get a goal in the first 10 minutes, that would suddenly make everybody nervous and it would go the other way. But Newcastle just never let them get into it. Never got to the point of being able to try and quieten the crowd down. Never got a foothold in the game. They didn't, although they controlled possession, they did nothing, absolutely nothing with it, bar probably that Odegaard shot in the first half that ultimately leads to Newcastle's goal. So, Agent Tech, we can do it this time. It feels different. I think there's maybe a little bit more confidence. There's more of a drive. It's funny because some of the videos and some of the stuff that was played for the cup fight, it was all about the being there for the first time in so long. It was all about the atmosphere around it and the magic of actually getting to it. I think you're right. I think there is something that does feel like there's a momentum with this one, that it's not just about the participation in the final this time, that it is about the ability to seize the moment and go and win it. So definitely Billy is in the chat as well. Bring on whoever. This is our time finally. I can't disagree with that at all. I've got that feeling that there is something to this. I think there's much more of a possibility, whoever it is, whether it be Spurs, whether it be Liverpool, that there is that massive opportunity now. So I agree completely there. On a couple more comments, guys, and then I am going to take off. So Philip is already off. So thank you very much, Philip. Thanks for joining in tonight, mate. There you go, Robert. No way, Eddie lets trips go to taking out. I don't think so at all. I don't think there will be any more movement in that regard at all. So let's have a look. I'm just trying to see. Christopher in the chat there, Murphy's goal was a better finish than it. On the first time I saw it, I thought, he's taken it well. The second time, when you see how far wide it sort of was of him, to be able to control that in, it was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then hotels pre-book when I was allowed, it's 30 days a foot. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Hitchhiking, get the bus, just slum it for a day or two, and absolutely right. But yeah, loads of people, loads of hotels booked. They're probably all gone by now. So yeah, you might have to bunk in with somebody. Cannon to Wembley, Trippier man of the match. Yeah, I agree with that one. Ian, what's that say? Marcus had a nicotine patch on your kitchen cupboard. You mean that bit there? It's a whiteboard. I did start by trying to write things on it for live streams, but it's too far away to be able to to be able for anybody to see, which is a bit of a pain. But you know, the thought was there. Ian, don't be doing naked dives. Like, oh dear me, no naked dives. So we don't want to see that. Absolutely not. One player, Dubs was more worried about his ankle than them scoring. He absolutely was. I mean, he wasn't really tested, not shot wise tonight at all. Most of the test for him came through crosses, and I thought he dealt with them brilliantly. He was properly on form tonight. As Chipper says, stay humble. Yeah, none of this bullshit celebrations from them tonight, eh? No, I think we'll leave it at that point. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us tonight, or joining me tonight. I hope you've all had a wonderful evening, because that was, I'll say it again, that was just a magnificent performance. It was thoroughly deserved, thoroughly professional. From minute 1 to minute 90, what was it, 94, 95 that it ended. They have put on a show tonight and been absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much for joining tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a few drinks. Stay safe. We'll see you all soon. Take care, guys. See ya.